Hello, I'm Mary Davis, a nurse educator here at North Kansas City Hospital. I'm here today to give you a tutorial on how to do hands-only CPR. The most important thing about CPR is that the patient is unresponsive. So when you walk up and you see someone that appears to need help, you're going to tap and shout, Sir, are you okay? While you're tapping and shouting, you're going to look for chest rise and look for any movement that the patient might provide. If the patient is not moving, you're going to direct the nearest person to call for help and to bring an AED. If the patient is not already on a hard, flat surface, such as this table, you're going to go ahead and get them onto a hard, flat surface. We do not want to do CPR on a bed that has a soft mattress or anything. Move the victim to the ground. As soon as you're ready to start CPR, you're going to put one hand on top of the other, and you're going to put it on the lower third of the breastbone, just above the nipple line. You're going to press hard and fast at a rate of 100 to 120 beats per minute. In your head, you can think of the tune Staying Alive to help guide your compression rate. So you're going to extend your arms, press hard and fast while bending at the waist. And you're going to continue to do compressions until someone shows up with an AED that you can use on the patient or until emergency services arrive. So hard and fast, straight down, just like this. You're going to continue this until the AED or automated external defibrillator arrives. These devices are located in a variety of places such as airports, museums, stadiums, sporting events. They all operate the same. Most of them are labeled on a 1, 2, 3 sequence. The first step is to turn it on. When you turn it on, it will automatically start prompting you with steps to take next. Some AEDs have a button that you press that will open a lid, and that will automatically power the AED on. I'm going to turn this on. Step 2 is to follow the prompts. So I'm going to listen closely and follow the directions that are given by the AED.
Apply pads to patient's bare chest. Plug in pads connector next to flashing light.
I have a set of pads. The pads have pictures on them that indicate where they go on the patient.
Plug in connect.
They should go on the upper right and under the left breast. When you're applying these pads, you want to look at the patient's chest and make sure that the pads will stick. Things like sweat on the chest or water on the chest, we want to dry off. The patient does not have to be completely dry, but just dry enough that the pads will stick and make contact. If the patient has a hairy chest, you can look in the AED kit and consider using a smaller set of pads to lay on the chest and to rip off to create a spot to lay the appropriate size pads. We do not want to put the pads over a medicine patch. We want to remove that medicine patch. And if the patient has a pacemaker or a defibrillator, we want to put the pads slightly below that. You will see a round lump on the patient's chest that's usually about the size of a deck of cards. So what you would do is ordinarily the pad would go here. You'll see that round lump. You'll just slide the pad down to be just slightly below that bump. So we're going to go ahead and demonstrate the AED. Step 1, turn it on.
Apply pads. Patient's bare chest.
Upper right.
Plug in pads connector next to
under
flashing light.
The left breast. It will continue to remind me to apply pads until I actually put them on.
Plug in connector.
It has a flashing light right here that indicates where I'm going to plug these pads in. They only go in one way. So if I'm putting it in backwards, it's not going to fit.
Heart rhythm. Do not touch the
We're going to follow the directions and not touch the patient or anything the patient is touching.
Shock advised.
We're going to let the AED charge.
Stay clear of patient. Deliver shock now.
It's time to give the shock. Before we give the shock, we want to make sure that we clear the patient, that nobody is touching the patient or anything the patient is touching, such as leaning on the table. So I'm going to say clear.
Now. Shock delivered.
Going to deliver that shock. And then it's going to
Begin
prompt me
CPR.
to resume CPR. I want to compress at the rate that the AED beeps. That's at 100 beats a minute. And that concludes Hands Only CPR.
Mary, we have a question for you.
Sure.
What are some of the things that you should look for in an unresponsive patient to make sure that they need CPR?
So we should make sure that the patient, when we tap and shout, that the patient is not moving. If you're comfortable, you can use 2 fingers and you can check for a carotid pulse. If you feel no pulse, that's an indication that we need to call for help and begin CPR.
What are some signs of that somebody may be going into cardiac arrest?
So before somebody actually experiences cardiac arrest, they may be nauseated, they may be pale, they may be diaphoretic, and they may complain of a little bit of chest pain. Sometimes people will complain of pain in the back that radiates down an arm.
Perfect.
Thank you.
All right. Thank you, Mary, for doing this for us.
You're very welcome.